Hi everyone, what's up? All good? Great. So today we will be discussing about how you can crack Google in your second year of engineering. Yeah, you heard it right. In your second year of engineering. So there is a program called Google Step Internship in which you get a chance to get interviewed with Google in your second year. So for this today we will be having Upasna with us, who is an upcoming summer intern at Google, and she got this internship through this program called Google Step Internship, and today she will be sharing her complete experience of this program, from how she got to know about this program to how she made it to Google. So if you also want to crack Google at this other stage of your career, then this video is for you. So let's get started. Hi Upasna.
Hi, Priyanshi.
First of all, thank you very much for accepting my invite and coming here for sharing your experience. So how are you?
I'm doing really well, and thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, welcome. So we would love to know about your experience, but before this, can you please just introduce yourself, like your college and your.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. I'm Upasna Singh. I am a second year computer engineering undergrad. I'm studying in one of the colleges of Pune, which comes under the Pune University. And I will be interning at Google this summer in Google Bangalore. And I am a Google Women Engineer Scholar. So, Women Engineer is a mentorship program sponsored by Google, offered by Talent Sprint. Yeah. So
Okay, amazing. So first of all, tell us about this program. Like, what is this Google Step internship program?
yeah. So basically, STEP is the abbreviation for Student Training and Engineering Program, as far as I can remember. It is for first and second year college undergrads, and that's basically everything that they've mentioned on the careers page. That you have to be either in the first year of the engineering or second year, and you have to be enrolled in a college, a legit college. So that's all. So
Okay.
basically, this program is a really good opportunity for when you are early in your college days and you just want to know how these big techs work.
Hmm.
So it's just a very good opportunity to at least apply to. And yeah.
Oh, okay. So like, how did you came to know about this program? How did you hear about it, and what was the application process?
Yeah. So just as I mentioned, I was already in a program by Google, which is Women Engineers. So they told us about this opportunity like way in advance, like 6 or 7 months in advance. So I had time to prepare, and they also
Okay.
helped us in our preparation in every possible way. So that's how I got to know about this opportunity. And application, you just have to submit your resume on Google Career. First, you have to make a profile on Google Careers page, and there you have to submit your resume. So that's all for application. That's just the bare minimum thing.
Okay, so you hear about this program from Google Women Engineers program.
Yeah.
And is it just a normal application of resume submitting, or there are some different questions asked in application as well, like essay questions and all?
No, it's just resume submission because that's how Google works. They shortlist your resume, which is a very big deal if your
Hmm.
resume gets shortlisted because that's the first roadblock. So that's all. You just need to submit your resume, no essays, because
Okay.
resume selection itself is the biggest, hurdle. So
Yeah.
just that, no
Okay.
essays.
So what is this Google WE program, and how did you get into this?
Yeah, so it's a program for first year engineering girls in computer engineering or associate or related fields. So I was in my first year and I was just going through. I was just blindly scrolling, and then I stumbled upon this ad by Talent Sprint about V. And
Okay.
then I applied because I was so lured by the scholarship amount. But in hindsight, I can say that it's not the scholarship amount, it's the
It's a
sheer mentorship that I
oh.
value the most and cherish the most.
Okay. So what are the perks of this Google WE? Like you got scholarship, you got mentorship, and anything
It's
else?
yeah, it's a lot. I think I know other programs, but this is such a different program because they uh just don't they're not like, okay, we are giving you money, I mean the scholarship amount is stipend and then bye bye. No,
Hmm.
it's a rigorous program in which if you do not perform as in if you do not participate well in the
Okay.
classes, or if you are not committed enough to the program, then they can drop you as well. So it's not like, okay, fine, I've grabbed the scholarship, fine. So it's
Okay.
like they are very committed to your technical career. So we
Hmm.
have our classes of corporate skills, technical skills, and we also have special seminars conducted by Google professionals. And so the classes are taken care of by Talent Sprint, which is such, I mean, the folks of Talent Sprint are awesome. They help us in every way possible. We can book one-on-one sessions with them, get their mentorship. And then besides these things, we are also given additional things like we had the opportunity to attend a boot camp in which we
Okay.
had extraordinary mentors, and we got a chance to visit Google Hyderabad office.
Oh. Hmm.
Yes. And they also, it's just because of that V program, I believe, that I got my resume shortlisted. Because if you see my resume, otherwise, I don't think it has anything extraordinarily special coming from a tier 3 college that could take me there. But
Hmm.
yeah, they gave us very good advices and like plenty of knowledge and mentorship that helped me post the resume shortlisting process, because after that no one can help you, because the V program was kind of a referral for me. But after that, it was the mentorship and the practice that paves the way, and then whatever you do in the interviews.
Yeah, mentorship means a lot because guidance is the thing which every student needs in this time.
In tier 3 college, you do not get mentorship
Yeah.
at all. It's
Yeah.
actually, the thing is, either you are getting mentorship or you're not getting mentorship. But in tier 3 college, you also get negative it's not mentorship, it's called brainwashing. So
Hmm.
it's negative of the, in the entire spectrum of black
तुमसे
and
नहीं
white.
होगा.
Yeah, you cannot, they're like, you're just limited to these kind of companies, and it's not
Hmm.
motivating, but yeah, it's
Right.
very demotivating. So
तुमसे नहीं होगा
it was
फार्म
like,
में. You can.
yeah,
Yeah.
हाँ, तुमसे तो नहीं होगा और तुमसे यही होगा.
हाँ. Right.
So बता देता ये नहीं होगा ये होगा. So it's very disheartening, but it was such a lifesaver for me. And it's still, my classes are going on, and the kind of things they teach us, it's actually, the thing is, they don't want us to just be a good tech professional, but tech leaders kind of stuff. So it's so motivating, and it's very nice. I mean, I don't have enough words to articulate what I have for them, but and also free.
Hmm.
That's the thing. I mean, one day I was just thinking, there was this one time I was talking to my fellow V scholar friend, and I was just saying that everything in this world is so expensive, and no, everyone puts a price tag to everything. And here
Yeah.
we are getting exclusive mentorship from folks who are so learned and experienced,
With the
and getting,
scholarship.
yeah, with scholarship, and getting all this sponsored by Google for us for free. I was like, what have I done that I'm getting this? But it's
Yeah.
the best thing that that has happened to me. The highlight of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also got a chance to meet Googlers because of WE program. That's all.
Absolutely. We have we alumni who are into Google, Microsoft. So we have such a strong alumni network, that they keep on coming and mentoring us, or they say, do this, do not do this, because the thing with mentorship is it saves you a lot of time. That I personally realized in my JE journey, when I was not listening to
Mm.
my mentors, and I
Mm.
really screwed up the entire thing. But
Yeah.
now I was really sure that, okay, I have to listen to my mentors, because they tell you what not to do, which
Mm.
is very important. And yeah, that's very important. And actually, even if you're not in a program, but be in this active search for a mentor, which is very
Hmm.
important.
Yeah, right. Completely agree. So, like, as you applied for Google Step internship through Careers Portal, so you didn't take any referral. This Google WE program works as a referral for you.
That's what I assume, because but there were certain folks from my program who did not get the call, but most of us got the call. So
Okay.
yeah, it is like if you are into V, you are very likely to get a call, but it's not 100%, because again, nothing is sure in life.
Right. So, what is the basic eligibility criteria for applying to Google Step internship?
Yeah, so you have to be in the first or second year of engineering. That's all they say. They don't even mention the branch and all. It's just that you have to be in either in the first year of your college or second year, and just be enrolled in a university or college. And they also have some other criteria that if you are in your first year, you have to at least complete one CS related subject, and in the second year, at least two CS related subjects. But I guess that's for American universities where they give you the options to choose from. We are given the syllabus,
Right. We are
so
just
it's
given
it's
the
fine.
branch and then syllabus.
Yeah, yeah, no choice, nothing.
Right. So, total, how many rounds were there? Like, can you please tell us about the complete process in detail?
Yeah. So, first of all, I submitted my application. It was on 28th of December, if I'm remembering right. And after that, I get a call on the maybe on the third or second day of Feb. So it's like after so many days. There were some of my friends who got a call in Jan, and I was so happy that I did not get the call
What
because
is also?
I was like, my DP is not done yet. So
Oh my
I was
God.
happy. But I got the call in Feb, in the first week of Feb, and like I thought that with most of my friends, they were calling, and they were giving like 1 week of time for preparation. I thought, okay, fine, I'm getting a call, so I get a call, and I see Google, like the true caller says Google. I'm like,
Bye.
what? And then I pick up my phone and I like, yes. And then they start saying, is it a Upasna? We'll be recording this call for security purposes. Do we have your consent? I'm like, yes. And then and that was a very casual conversation, like how many what are your projects? And just I explained them briefly. It wasn't even like deep into the tech stack and all. They just wanted to know if I have done something. And they asked me, like my recruiter asked me about my which platform do I code on, like Lead Code or Code Chef, Code Forces Hacker. So I told him that I'm into Lead Code. And then he asked me, how many Lead Code questions have you solved until this date? And after that, he informed me about my interview dates, which were like right after 2 days. So,
Right.
I was so shocked because if you're not getting the call, you're like, okay, I will get it later. So I was in a very chill and calm mood. And then he says after he told me Monday. So I got the call on Friday, and he told me, okay, you will have it on Monday. I like, okay, next to next Monday. So no, the coming Monday. And then okay. And then I was the after that, the next 2 hours, I was just as anxious as I could have ever been in my whole entire life, because no, regardless of the number of mock interviews that you gave or the preparations you have done,
Because
on that day,
the
it's
anxiety
yeah.
before the interview is completely
My face was dead. It was like no expression. I was just so it was very scary for me, because the only thing that I was afraid of was the fact that what if I screw up in front of a very knowledgeable person, and I screw up bad enough that the person says, let's stop the call right now.
yeah.
But after that was like 2 days of time. So that was the first day. I did not do anything new. I just revised graph algos. That's all I did. I did not do any other stuff. And on the second day, I started all those affirmations that I am good. I am this, I'm that. But the thought that came into my mind was, this is my interview, I've earned it. So
Yeah.
I will
Right.
be myself. I will do justice to my personality myself. I will not change it for the interviewer, whoever interviews me, because I have earned it. If I
Yeah,
have
right.
gotten the time, then that means I've earned it, and I will own my interview. And I have practiced well enough for the past 3 months that even though I don't come to the end of the solution, I can at least think, be
Yeah,
and
right.
hold an intelligent conversation with my interviewer. So I was at least this confident. I was not confident that I will score, clear all the questions, but yeah, I was very confident that I will be myself and own the interview, because usually, what happens, we change, kind of try to change our personalities in the interview,
Yeah.
but that I highly discourage that.
Yeah, like
And
because
then,
if
yeah.
we have make it till here, then we can also crack the interview, no?
Absolutely. No, I
Yeah.
mean, whether or not you crack the interview, that's the thing that
Yeah.
you can
But
actually
you
not
should give
control.
you should
Yeah.
give your best with
Yeah. Give
calm
your
mind.
best. Yeah. Give your
Yeah.
best and be yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the one thing you will be the best at, being yourself. So we play with your strengths there. So because usually when I talk to someone, even if it's like DSA, I'll be very, jovial, and, let's do this, and let's uh, solve it using this strategy. So that's happened, and that's what then comes Monday. And so in Google, they do not give you any, platform. They just give you Google Doc.
Okay.
They have a shared doc in which you type your code, so there's no compiler.
Hmm.
So that's I practiced for Google Doc setup as well. I was coding on Google Doc also, to just familiarize myself with this complete setup. So my interview had to start at 10:30, and my interviewer did not give me the permission to enter into the Google meeting until 10:31 or 10:32. And I was totally I mean, I was so nervous that what has happened, why is this cancelled, what has happened. But suddenly then my recruiter comes and allows me in the meeting, and then my interview also comes. So my interview was late, which
Okay.
which is very rare.
Hmm.
There must be some reason. And then the classic thing that happens is you are asked to introduce yourself. But because we were late, so my interviewer did not ask me to introduce myself, and I was like, cool, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
And
right.
then we directly come to the shared doc, and he pastes a question, and then as soon as I look at the question, I was fine, because I knew this is a graph question and I can do graphs. I mean, graphs was my strongest topic, and it's still my strongest topic. So it's like the moment I saw graph, I mean, there were like the question was basically there were certain nodes, and I had to think through that. So I knew I could use graph algos and all this stuff. So
Hmm.
so after that, my entire mindset changed. Also, my interview was so nice. Google interviews are very kind. They are there to help you if you are
Yeah.
good enough to allow them to help you.
Yeah.
So my interview comes, yeah.
Most of the times interviewers are very helpful. They are there
Yeah,
to help you. You just need to tell your problem in a correct way. That's all.
exactly. So we had a Google V Immersion Week. We helped had this thing called Immersion Week. So in which Googlers would come and tell us their experiences. And also, once we got the chance to interact with the recruiter, and he told us one thing, that interviewers are not devils who would come and punish you in
Right.
the
Right.
interviews. They are actually people who are looking out for co-workers.
Right.
So
Correct.
that does not matter if you are the most intelligent person on earth, but you cannot communicate or work in a team setting. So
Hmm.
we're not looking for a person like that, but we're looking for someone who is decently intelligent, can communicate, can convey ideas, and work in a team. So that's what
Hmm.
they're looking for. So that's
Right.
yeah. So the first thing is, my interview was like, this is the question we will be solving together. So I was like, wow, we will be solving together. So the entire mood changes. And I saw
That.
the question. So I was like, I can definitely solve this question. And then I started telling my approach to the interviewer. So the first thing is, whenever you are in an interview, discuss the brute force approach, so that you and your interviewer both have a shared understanding of the problem.
Hmm. Right.
Don't solve it yet, when don't code it yet, code it only when you have the optimized version. Don't code the brute force. Brute forces are just to come at a shared point of understanding, like both of you understand what you're saying and the logic that you've just formed.
Yeah.
So I shared the brute force approach, and then I also optimized it. It was a lead code medium and related to graphs. So I was doing that question, and then my interviewer told me that yeah, you can go ahead and code. I started coding, and there were certain bugs,
Yeah,
and
code only when the interviewer asks to code you. Otherwise,
exactly.
continue the discussion.
Otherwise, there will be a situation where you will code wrong,
Hmm.
and then you will also waste time. You won't get much because you're not
Yeah,
going to get any extra time.
because
Also, the yeah,
interviewer will be going to tell you to code only when he is satisfied with your approach, only when your approach is correct. Otherwise, he will not allow you to code. Tell them.
totally. Also, like the
That's
moment you read the question, ask clarifying questions. That's the most important thing. Do not move with the solution. Ask clarifying questions like, is this the input style? Can we expect a unique, are we expecting a unique output, or we can have multiple outputs?
yeah.
Or things like this. Just be clear with the question that will this fit in the memory size and all. So
Hmm.
ask these questions and then move ahead with the brute force approach. That's what I did. I asked clarifying question, then shared the brute force approach, and then we also optimized it. The interview was very helpful, really very helpful. I mean, they were continuously giving us hints and everything. So my interview was, the thing is, if you're wrong, they will tell you that
Yeah.
change your
Approach.
approach. They will,
Hmm.
yeah, they will not keep you waiting to
Yeah.
come up with it. I mean, they will give you like 2 to 3 minutes, but they will also suggest you, or like hint you, point you in the direction where the right answer
Yeah.
lies. It's just that you have to be attentive and
Yeah.
just be
Grab
present
their
enough that
hints.
yeah,
Yeah.
do that. So my first interview, I didn't need much of my interviewer's help in the first one because I knew the solution. Like, as soon as I saw the question, I knew what I had to do, and I coded it well. Then I did the dry runs, and there were certain bugs that I fixed. And then he gave me a follow up question that I solved, and then time complexity, space complexity. It was a very, I mean, I will not say easy, but the thing was, after the interview ended, I was shocked. How did I do that? I mean, there are times
Yeah.
when you don't believe I did that because
Yeah.
I was assuming it's a Google
Yeah.
interview. But I'll say, if it was not a Google interview and any other interviewer would be there other than the interview who I had, it would have been difficult for me because the interview made it so easy and comfortable for me to, think in that space and
Hmm.
just come up with a solution and optimize it. So it's
Yeah.
very important to communicate yourself with the interviewer, and also the thing is, just be yourself with the interviewer. I mean, if you need time, communicate that as well, because just imagine in a corporate setting, if you need help, ask for that.
Yeah.
If you need time, communicate it. No one else is going to know without you
Right.
telling them about it. So that's
Right.
very important. So that's all what they want. If you need help, ask for it. And they kind of encourage us that, okay, if you do not know something, you can ask it.
Yeah.
Of
Right.
course, you cannot ask the answer.
Yeah. Right. You can ask
Yeah,
for. You can just communicate your problem. They will automatically give you hints, and you just need to
actually,
grab
yeah,
those
exactly.
hints. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
If
should not
just you
just
say, yeah,
overwhelm ourselves like we are giving interview for such a farm company and all. Don't just just give your best without any expectations. Most of all, without any expectations, because if you are making your expectations, yeah, I will crack this interview, then it will just increase the pressure of the interview, and then you will not be able to give your best. Yeah,
actually. And but the thing, is that you cannot control these feelings. But
yeah,
the way I controlled them was, I was just like, I will be myself. I will be myself. I was not even thinking about DS at that time. I was just thinking that I will do justice to myself. I will be myself. I've earned this interview. I will be myself. And
right.
and also reiterating this statement that I have done something. Then
Right.
if I have done something, then I will definitely at least be in a position to discuss the approach. If not completely code it and present it. But the thing was, I did it. And that's the beauty, instead of thinking about everything that could go wrong, just think about that
You
things
can
that
do.
make you happy. That for me, it was like being myself there.
Right, completely makes sense.
Yeah,
So
and then yeah, so that was my first interview experience. That and then after like an hour, I got the call that okay, we'll be moving you to the second interview, and it will be conducted by a senior software engineer. So again, when my recruiter says that it will be
senior software.
yeah, I was like, what? And then what comes into my mind is DP. I was like, okay, now it's time for DP. But and this time my interview was right on time, and the thing was my interviewer. But again, my interview was so helpful, and this time the question was again from graphs, and
Oh,
but the thing was the question was a little tricky, and I told the brute force approach, but I could not get the optimized approach. So
okay.
it was at this time that thinking out loud helped me. I was just murmuring all the associated topics
Mm,
associated to that question, and then I was like this, and then my interviewer says, "Okay, you can go ahead with this."
mm.
I mean, he was clearly giving me the hint. So
Yeah, you
it's
should
only
apply graph.
possible.
You should think around
Yeah,
graphs only now.
exactly. So, I mean, there were certain things that I thought, okay, maybe I can go ahead with this, and yeah, you can choose that one. It was at that time where thinking out loud helped me, because in the other situation, I could be just like, wherein
Yeah,
it was not going to help me. I mean,
yeah.
how would he know that I'm even thinking about those
Yeah,
topics?
I'm just
And
thinking about
yeah,
only data structures. Then it will not help, na. If you are thinking out loud, yeah, stack can be applied, queue can be applied, graph can be applied, and if interview points, yeah, you can go ahead with graph. Then you thinking domain got shortened, and now you need to
yeah,
just think around graphs only. That's the thing.
exactly. And just it's not about continuously chattering in the entire interview, because the thing
Hmm.
with me was I could not think and speak at the same time. I needed some time, so I would say to my interviewer that I will be thinking in the next 3 minutes, which
Hmm.
I'm communicating that you will not hear from me in the next 3 minutes, so at least it's not an awkward silence. I've
Right.
already communicated that I will be shutting my mouth.
Yeah.
Also, do not just say anything. It has to be an intelligent conversation, which is very important, because sometimes people just misinterpret the meaning of thinking out loud. They just think anything.
Yeah. Right.
So
Right.
that's not the case. And so my interviewer helped me in that with that hint. He was kind enough to tell me the entire stuff, that okay, you can do this and then that and that. And I was like, oh my God, he's told me everything. I'm not getting through this interview now, because he has helped me so much. But that was the only help I took, because after that, I coded the entire solution on my own. And it was in my first interview, I was not cross questioned as much. In my second interview, while I was writing the code, I was cross questioned like a lot of times. Like, why are you using this? Why can't you do it like this? Why are you using BFS? Why can't you use DFS? When will you use BFS? When will you use DFS? And he told me, how will you implement this? I said, I will be using DFS because it is easier to implement as opposed to BFS, where you have to, have a queue and all. So he told me, no, use BFS.
Oh.
And it was not to annoy or like just to check if I know BFS, because the follow-up question would be easier to solve with BFS. So he
Mm.
told me that the follow-up question will come, and it's better if you use BFS right now. So that's how I did. And and he was very, very, very intelligent, because the code that I wrote, the code, I mean, not just the approach, but the code in itself could have been written in a much better way. I wrote the code and like it looks very nice, but then he started pointing out, do you think this line can be
Can be
optimized?
optimized.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and but the only good part that happened to me on that interview, like as soon as he would say, do you think it could be optimized? Like, yeah, it can be optimized. And I would optimize it like immediately, like right
Mm.
away. And then that helped me there. So, and also I answered all of his questions that he had. I mean, my improvs at that time were so nice that he even told me good. So I was like, thank God. And then it was really nice, and then the interview ended, and I got my the acceptance call a week later.
So amazing interview experience. So what was the duration of each interview round?
45 minutes. My first interview got extended to like 50 minutes, but it was not the question. It was just, I mean, the interview and I were talking, chatting
Okay.
about, the basic stuffs.
Okay, so there are basically two technical rounds, and one could be considered as a telephonic round or not.
I wouldn't say a telephonic because I was not asked any technical question there. It was
Okay.
just I mean, but I was asked about my projects, but not as much that what tech stack have you used, why did you use this. It was just what is this project, what does it do, and then how many questions have I solved on lead code, and what's my GPA.
So it can be just said that the confirmation call that whether you are available for interview on Monday or not.
Yeah, whether I'm available. Yeah, that was also a question.
Yeah. So there were mainly two technical interview rounds for this Google Step internship, and there was no OA round, direct
Yeah,
interview.
only because no, that's only because if I okay, so regardless of whether or not you do it or through off campus or on campus, you have an OA round.
Okay.
But I guess it was because I was from I had like I was a V scholar, so I was directly I received a call directly because it's not a call usually. Generally, it's like a mail because I had some of my friends who applied through on campus. Like they were in colleges like NSUT, Delhi, where Google comes on campus. So
Mm-hmm.
they applied on campus and they got a call. Sorry, they got a mail. It
Okay.
was for like all the folks who I knew from V who got a call. So I also got a call from a recruiter.
Okay, so as you are a Google W scholar, so that's why in your case you got direct chance for interview.
Yes.
So that is also one of the benefits of being a Google W scholar.
Yeah.
Because OA rounds are much harder than the interview rounds. As much
Um,
I have experienced.
Look, I gave two GOC rounds. So again, because of V,
Hmm.
Google organized two mock OA rounds for us.
Okay.
Because until the last year, even the people from V had to clear an OA round. This
Okay.
time it did not happen, but until last year it was happening. So we were preparing for OA as well. So the
Okay.
thing was, the GOC questions are generally arrays or DP in arrays or matrices kind of questions. So it's not very hard because it's actually they just check your coding skills there. If you
Okay.
can code in time,
Hmm.
that's what is checked. In interviews, they kind of check everything. How well do you communicate?
I
The communication does not only confine itself, don't confine yourself to how well do you speak. It's not about speaking, it's about conveying your thoughts and being able to disseminate your thoughts and knowledge. That's all. If you are able to articulate your thoughts to the person in front of you, that's enough. It
Right.
does not come how well do you speak or the kind of vocab that you have. It's just how you communicate yourself. So they
Yeah.
kind of check everything. The kind of I mean, it's not just it's I won't call it a behavior, but the kind of demeanor you have,
Right.
just how you carry
Completely.
yourself, your personality.
Yeah, completely
It's
agree.
actually, I think interviews are difficult in my perception
Okay.
because it's like you have someone in front of you. So that
Hmm.
was the biggest challenge for me because in ways it's like I can think, I can do stuff and all.
Yeah.
In interviews, I have to speak because that was a big challenge for me because
Hmm.
how I used to do my coding challenges and all, I would just sit and have a pen and paper and do stuff. But now I
Hmm.
would also have to speak and
Okay.
discuss, which
Yeah.
you have to practice.
Yeah, it might depend from person to person, like for whom OA is there difficult or for whom interview is difficult. If a
Yeah, totally
person is
personal.
if a person is completely comfortable communicating his approach and all, then interview
Yeah,
is also easy. So what
yeah.
is this GOC which you have mentioned?
Google Online Challenge.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically it was just because we were supposed to give an OA, we thought we would give an OA first
Hmm.
step, but
Hmm.
so there were online challenges by Google for we students just to
Hmm.
prep us for
Okay.
OAs. but they did not happen.
Right.
And you know
It's
what? The first GOC happened in October last week, October first week, and the second GOC happened. No, the first GOC happened in October first week, and the second GOC happened in November first week. And my performances were first GOC, I could not solve any question of the two questions. In the second GOC, I solved both the question. The only difference was from October, I started coding consistently. I started doing one question every day. That was the only
consistency is
difference.
very, very important.
Yes, that was the only difference, and you could see zero question in GOC to all the questions, like 2 out of 2 questions in GOC, just by one question a day.
I completely
Consistency is
agree.
very important.
Consistency is very important in DSA. Whenever you lose consistency, you are going to lose the concepts as well. Right.
Yeah.
So, what do you think Google is actually looking for in a candidate?
Well, that's a really tough question
Yeah.
because, but as much as I've interacted with Googlers and I will be in a much better position once I come from my internship. But yeah, I have done 1 week of immersion week with Googlers and talked to one of the recruiters, and I mean interacted, not talk, interacted with one of the recruiters. And what I feel is he was constantly saying that Google is looking for people who can work in a team, be intelligent enough to come up with solutions, and there's this thing called googliness in Google, which I don't know what it means, but I think there's this googliness round also, which I did not have. But if you want to, if you have a full time employment in Google, that's probably one of the interviews about googliness, which is something very characteristic trait of yours. But I don't know, but I think in companies like Google, they don't want the most intelligent person. I mean, of course they would love to have if you're very intelligent, but
Yeah.
for even if you're decently intelligent, if you're hardworking, I mean, hard work just matters the
Hard.
most for, I think, for me. Hard work, consistency, diligence, just being able to communicate yourself, and be kind when you are in teams, help others. So
Right.
what worked for me, I guess, was, of course, I was consistent. So, I mean, whenever or wherever I have had people who asked me what you did, I was consistent. I had very wonderful mentors. I mean, not just the actual mentors from Talent Sprint, but also the seniors, my V seniors who were from just one cohort back. I'm in cohort 5, so I had seniors from cohort 4 who helped me. Who was selfless enough to give, each week they would give 3 to 4 hours to me, which is a lot. When because people pay, ask for fee and all for that, but they were doing it selflessly. So it's because of them that I could maintain consistency. So I'd say that to be consistent, it's actually very necessary to have a routine and a peer group that pushes you to be consistent. So it's actually very very easy to say be consistent, but it's not as easy as it is
Right.
to say,
It's very
because
difficult.
yeah. So the one way that has helped me, and that's something I use almost all the time. If I have to do something, I change, and I prime my environment just to suit my goal. So if there's this thing in one of the books called Atomic Habits, that if you have to go and run in the morning, just keep your shoes and your track pants and tracksuit then next to your bed. So it's like just prime your environment such that you are forced to do something. You don't have the time to think that shall I do it or I should not do it. Just don't
Right.
give that space to yourself. So if you have yeah, so if I have my seniors, I would have meetings with them like every week, 3 to 4 meetings. Like that means Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they would meet at 4, and they would give me assignments to complete, like questions that, okay, next time we will discuss these 2 questions. So I cannot say to myself, I'll do it later, because
Yeah.
they're doing this favor to me. How can I not do it? So I
Having
will do it.
seniors,
Yeah. Yeah,
Having
I will do
seniors
straight
like
answers.
this is also like having a gem, because because many seniors will guide you by feeding you some like you can't do this, but if a senior is guiding you in this way, like you can do it and you should do it, so that is also like having a gem.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know if she would like if I take her name, but that's why I'm not taking her name. But
No
I
problem.
mean, I can just, just say, I can write an essay on her that she's gem of a person. She just helped me so much. She's still helping me. I mean, because she's also, she was into STEP. She also got an offer for STEP internship, and then she's also returning back this year as SWE intern. So
Okay.
you have very awesome folks. So yeah, SWE intern at Google. So I mean, I got the support from so many people, and that's what I say. You cannot do a lot just being alone. When you are with people
Hmm.
around you, you have that community around you. It just makes it so easy and effortless for you. It's
Right.
just like it's just like everyone is doing it. You are in this harmony,
Yeah.
and people are working with you. So it's not like I have to work,
Then
get up
it
today
will
and do step preparation.
then it will be your mindset. Yeah, I have to do this, I don't have any choice. Then you will have that mindset. Otherwise you will have,
Yeah,
yeah, it I नहीं भी करेगा नहीं भी करेंगे तो चलेगा, otherwise you will have
exactly.
that mindset.
And after all these like 2 to 2.5 months, I was in a state of mind wherein doing DSA was not just a thing associated to step. I still do DSA every day.
Okay, that's
I mean,
also
even
amazing.
like even though I can like sometimes I miss a day or two, it's not as consistent back then. But I do it like I try as hard as I can to do the daily challenges.
That's
It's
important.
a practice because thing with DSA is if you are into that habit, it's not just related to step or SWE or van. It's actually a problem solving attitude that you build,
Yeah,
and
right.
it's very addictive. It's very addictive. So I think instead of getting addicted to uh,
In
social media
studies.
and all, yeah, in studies it actually takes time. But I mean, if you dedicate yourself to problem solving, which is actually the biggest skill that you can have in these times where tech is changing, everything is changing. If you're a problem solver, if you know how to tackle a problem, that DSA actually teaches you,
Then you can do anything in the
you can do
development of
anything.
anything,
Yes.
right? Right.
Yeah.
Completely agrees.
Yeah.
So, according to you, what are the things which a student should avoid in an interviews?
Yeah. Like speaking. Okay. Just do not misinterpret thinking out loud. Don't speak crap.
Hmm.
Being Because don't annoy your interviewer that
Right.
he or she or they just say okay, just let's end it right away.
Hmm.
Be intelligent, as in not don't say E is equal to MC square. just
Right.
just be rational and logical. So
Hmm.
if you see that okay, this can happen with say graph or a tree or something like that, don't say stack. I mean,
Hmm.
just if even if your assumption to make if you're making guesses, at least make intelligent guesses.
Meaningful guesses. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And so in an interview, communicate yourself. Do not just enter in an interview because it's not an in-person interview. It's an online setting in which if you are just, shutting your mouth and thinking the most
Hmm.
intelligent solution, it will be so awkward for
Right.
an interview to just stare at your face. And
Because
why don't you interact with your interviewer? Don't give them a time to think why is this person not doing anything? And if you want time to think, tell them I
ask
want time.
them. Because they
Yeah.
want to understand your thought process, not the optimized solution. They know that solution. They want to
They won't
understand
like it.
how you get that solution. They
Exactly.
want,
They won't like if you just come and say, okay,
yeah.
this is the solution. They want to
No.
see how you get to the solution.
Right.
How do you think about it? Will you be able to? They just want to see how you think.
Right.
That's all.
They want to know about your thought process, your problem solving skills.
Yeah. So if
Right.
they want to know about your thought process, communicate that. They
Right.
will not know your thought process by getting into your head and see, oh wow, this
Mm.
person is just next like Isaac Newton. No, just know what you want to say, have it
Mm.
in your mind, frame it properly, and then speak. And
Right.
if you practice enough, you will not have to spend much time in your head framing the best thing. Just be in that flow and communicate yourself intelligently. Uh, Maintain a sense of intelligent reasoning. All these things are the perfect situations if you, yeah, but if you do not know something, take time. Don't just blabber anything that comes into your mind. Even if you are doing that, do say things which are associated or related to that thing, just in case you cannot think of, there are situations when nothing is in your brain. My brain just froze at that time. It happens a lot.
Right.
First thing, you can get rid of that use via mock interviews, which
Okay.
are very important. Mock interviews are very important. Second, if that happens in interview, you can just take some time.
Right. Completely agree. And one more thing I would like to add, that sometimes at the end of the interview, interviewers ask you to ask some questions. Then don't avoid those questions like, yeah, I am just done with this interview now. I don't want to ask any question. Just end this interview. Don't act in that way, because it will like give them impression that you are not interested. You just want to end it. You should ask some question related to the interviewer, or related to the company, or like what is the work of the interviewer at that company. So you can ask that kind of a question, so that it will give an impression like, yeah, you are really interested in joining that company. You want to know about this company, you want to know about the work culture of the company. So you
Totally.
should not avoid those questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right. So if someone is preparing for their interview, then what would be your advice to them?
Um, First, like if you like say you have 4 months, then I mean, let's not take time because people will say I don't have time anymore. It's there are three stages for any interview. First, get your coding skills refined, which means there are situations when people come and say that I have the logic but I cannot code.
Right.
So that is the first problem. So how do you tackle this problem? Is first solve very basic questions, coding questions, which are not particularly DSA based, but just Armstrong numbers, palindromes, Capreka series. There are these questions which are very typical questions, but they help you with building the coding law, not just coding logic. You're not building logic here, but just getting yourself into that state of coding. So
Right.
spend some time refining your coding skills. That's first thing. Second, do diligently, do consistently, do DSA. That's second. Third, mock interviews. These are the
Right.
three things that you need in an interview. Like you have to code well. You have to do clean coding. So clean
Right.
coding is very necessary. Very,
Yeah.
very, very necessary. So yeah.
Because they
So
want
yeah,
they want industry ready code. So
exactly.
you should be like, if some new developer is entering in their company, then he should be able to understand that code without any help. So like, you should name the variables properly, like it should convey the meaning, what does they do.
Yeah,
Don't just start naming the variables with I, J, K answer. Don't just use these variables in the interview at any cost. Then your interview will be finished at that point only, because they want industry ready
exactly.
code.
Like,
Industry ready.
what will you say? Like, you open an Amazon code base and say A is
I
equal to 3.
Right.
What now?
Right. So don't do this
Or
thing.
I say Jeff is equal to 2. What will anybody know? So
Right.
yeah, you just don't do that. It's very it's people in competitive coding do that just for saving some time. But when you are in companies
Industry.
like these, yeah, in an industry setting, the most important thing is making sense, because
Right.
you're not going to stay at that company for your whole entire life. That people can always approach you.
Right.
So it's like people change, and when you just imagine you come to a company where they give you the code base to read and start working on that,
And
and you
it have
see
I,
A is
J,
equal to
K,
2.
A, B,
Yeah,
C answer result.
exactly. So
So it's
it's
just
so difficult. Just see, if someone says that the name of this matrix is matrix, say, and they say for row column in this, it's so easy to understand. You don't have to spend those extra seconds to say what is I, what is J. So it
yeah.
just saves your time, saves the time of the whole humanity.
Hmm.
It's very important.
Right. Because if like you are at that company and then someone else needs to understand that code because it is some interrelated code, then you are approaching that person, yeah, I don't know, मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा ये IJK क्या है, please explain me. So it will waste your his time and your time as well. So this is
Also,
very
if you are into the
practice.
practice of writing clean code, it will also help you with open source contributions.
Right.
So that's very important. So yeah, there are three things: coding practice, then DSA skills, and then mock interviews. So do not miss any of these three things. And if you perform, I mean, if you practice them well, it's actually, then you can enjoy your interview.
Right.
You know, you
I
can be
I
happy and say, okay, be yourself.
I agree with that. Right. Yeah, so we have a lot of discussion. So before ending this, any at end movement tips and tricks you would like to give? Like we should do this end movement things.
I just say be consistent. Because consistency helped me in many ways, and actually, it's very healthy to be consistent.
Yeah.
Because right before my interviews, I was traveling. So because I'm in Pune, so you have Lonavala here. You know these hill stations, Lonavala and Khandala.
Yeah.
Aati ke Khandala types. These hill stations. So I went there with my family, and so I was even there. I did not miss DSA. So you can see everyone is having fun and doing this, but I am there sitting on table doing DSA. But just one question, but I did not miss it, so I don't get out of practice. Embarrassing everyone. What is she doing? What is she doing? But just you don't have to miss it. So the beauty is, if if I were not consistent for the past 3 months, then I would have to miss that trip.
Right.
I miss many things. So there was not a single day where I pulled out an all nighter, or where I missed something because I have to, do 10 questions in a day. If you do one question every day, sometimes okay, it can be, you can definitely increase it. Just don't say she said one. I'll only do
I
one.
will do
I mean,
one.
yeah, minimum one. The point here is do it consistently. It will be very peaceful and happy. The thing that I learned this during my JE preparation. The night before my JE exam, my syllabus was not complete, and I was the most stressed I had ever been in my whole entire life. I was even more stressed than my Google interview. I was so stressed. So the one thing I learned and I promised myself is I will never create this situation for myself ever again. Because these days people are getting heart attack and all because of stress. I was
Yeah.
like, no, no, this is not going to happen. So that was a very bad joke, but all I'm trying to say is that just if you are consistent, it will be very peaceful and happy and healthy for you. You can do multiple things if you are consistent. So just if you do something every day, you can also spare some time for your active like hobby, like if you are into singing and all, or just walking and like spending time with your family. So it's if you do something consistently, it will be very peaceful and happy.
Right.
So be consistent, do DSA intelligently. And intelligently means if you are into solving a question, do not spend more than, do not give 2 or 3 hours to the same question. A, it's frustrating. B, it's draining. So you will leave DSA then and there. So for me, the sweet spot was 30 minutes. So I will give like 30 minutes, although I understand it's very hard to, say that, okay, I'm leaving because that hurts your ego. It used to do that for me, but I learned, okay, no, 30 minutes I've given myself the time to think. And initially the DS is all about pattern recognition. So if you do not have patterns, because initially you do not know any pattern, how will you recognize them? So just even then I would say think for 30 minutes, just 25 minutes, so that when you look at the solution, not the code, I'm saying again and again, don't look at the code yourself, look at the approach. So when you look at the approach, you will know what you did, where was your thought going wrong, so that when you will get to the solution or the question again, you would know where not to think. So
Right.
just analyze your thought process, and that's the main point of doing DSA. It's not the question but the pattern that's hidden in the question, which will help you solve many other questions related to
Yeah,
the same
yeah,
line.
because we are in learning phase and we don't know about patterns, how we don't know about different approaches for solving a question. So initially, if we are looking at the approaches, looking at the patterns, then it is completely fine because you are learning those patterns and then you will be able to apply those approaches and those patterns in the next questions then.
Absolutely.
So,
And also, after doing that, do not do like only look at the solution code after you are done with your own code. But yeah, so it will help you with coding skills as well. And but don't, I'm not saying don't look at the code. Look at only after you're done with your own code, and then see where you where
Can
you could have improved
optimize.
in your own code. Like,
Right.
is the solution code more clean? Is it like written in a better way? And then you'll also look at other solutions. So there are like three things that you have to do: approach, upsolve, and better code. But all this comes after 30 minutes of brainstorming.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
so just
Completely
do that.
agree.
So it's actually very important to have that bunch of patterns in your head. So instead of going to see, okay, this is the question, just look, have that pattern in your head. Because just like 2 days back, there was this lead code challenge, daily lead code challenge that I could not solve. I spent 30 minutes doing, and then I realized I cannot solve it. I had the brute force approach, but that was very dumb. It was not right. Then I looked at the solution. Then I came up with, like, I heard about this topic called monotonic stack, which I did not know about. So it's just that every day just learn something new. You
Right.
cannot learn 10 new topics in one day, but you can always learn one new topic in one day. So I learned about monotonic stack, that's the beauty. And it's a very beautiful concept. And now I'm still remembering it in my, when I'm talking to others. So that's how you grow. And I remembered, okay, this is monotonic stack only because I spent 30 minutes thinking about it. And then I looked at the approach, I coded it
Right.
myself. Then I looked at the code, which was also better. Then I see how can I improve my own code, and then I also looked at other solutions. In that case, it was not as helpful, but like in one of the other lead code challenges, I saw that the other code was so intelligent. So that's the beauty of upsolving, looking, or also looking at other approaches, which is, I also talked to some others, like seniors of mine who were also step interns, like V seniors. And I told them, like, I asked them what could I do to clear step, and they told me, for DSA, it's better to focus on quality than quantity.
Right.
So for one
Completely.
question, always focus on multiple approaches.
Right. You
Just
should
yeah,
give proper time, enough time, and then code your approach. Then looking at the different approaches is the most important point. Don't just get satisfied. Yeah, I coded it. Don't just done with this. First try to think, then more optimize in your own way, and then look at the different approaches. Is looking at the
yeah.
different approaches is also very important. Because
And
in an
that's why it's,
interview,
yeah,
that is going to show your problem solving, not just one
exactly.
approach. Yeah.
And that's why it's important to give 30 minutes to thinking, because if you give like 2 hours to thinking, you will miss all those steps which follow thinking process, like better approach, upsolving, and coding, better coding. You will miss those steps if you do it in like just 5 minutes and say, okay, I'm done thinking. You
So
will
then,
not get the approach, like
yeah,
what was
right.
I doing wrong, what was I doing right. So just
Yeah, like
find that sweet spot.
if you are just ending the question in 5 minutes, then you were not going to memorize it after 5 days. And if you are just using your brainstorming for 30 minutes and then looking at the approach, then surely you will be going to memorize that question forever. Then it is for sure.
Yeah, that
Because
pattern.
yeah, because you have given 30 minutes for brainstorming on those, for thinking on that question, then you will then after later time in a month, then you will think that, yeah, 1 month ago I gave time to this approach and then I learned, because you have given some effort in learning that approach.
Exactly.
That's why
Yeah,
that approach will be there in some point in your mind. So that is
absolutely.
very much important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and we should also be very confident while answering the questions in an interview, because if you're not confident while answering your questions, then interviewer might also confuse you, asking more and more follow-up questions. So
Yeah.
try to be confident while answering the questions, and you should also
Confidence and everything related to, like, confidence comes only with practice. So
right
for me,
that
if I practice well, because
hmm,
there's this thing, that the more you sweat in practice, the less you bleed in war.
right
I'm assuming I said it right. I mean, जितना आप मेहनत करोगे आप जितनी, when you are actually practicing, उतना
hmm,
डर कम लगेगा. So for,
right
like, the thing was very true for warriors, that the more you sweat on fields, the
hmm,
less you'll bleed in wars. So it's
right
very, the same goes for, like, anyone. So
Hmm.
with whatever, like regardless of your profession, if you are trained well, you will be
Hmm.
confident.
Right. Completely agrees with.
Like although you will have jitters before the event,
वो
but
तो
once you are
सब
into it, आपको confident खुद ही हो जाओगे आप.
right. Completely agrees. And also try to go through all the things in your resume before the interview. That is also one more important point, because like if interviewer asks something related to your past project which you have done some 2 years ago, let's say 1 year ago, and you don't memorize it, then it will create a very bad impact, because you have written that thing in resume that you know this thing, you are claiming that you know this thing, you have done this project, so you should know the intricacies, you should know in detail about that project, otherwise it will create a bad impact.
Because you're actually claiming
Yeah,
loudly, like loud and clear, that okay, I know this thing. It's
yeah.
on my resume.
So
So
that,
just
so you
be
should,
thorough with everything you have on your resume.
yeah, yeah. So I think we have discussed so many tips for the interview, for during the interview, and what to do before the interview, how to prepare DSA. Yeah, so I think we have discussed a lot of things. So thank you so much, Upasna, for your time. I hope this video helps a lot of students who are going to apply for Google STEP internship. And yes, once again, thank you very much, and have a good rest of the day. Bye, Upasna. Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
Priyanshi. Thank you so much for having me. Bye,
It's my
everyone.
pleasure. Bye. See you soon in the next video. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.